Hello and welcome back to another video in the Complete Web Dev series. In this chapter, we're building a login registration system using procedural PHP. In the last video, what we did is we set up our email server to send out an email with a verification code, a link that the user can click on. And in this video, what we want to do is do the other side of that. Once they click the link, we want to take them to a verify.php file. And we're going to find the user by the code that we sent. And what we're going to do is then verify the user, and then that's basically all we'll do for this. Let's go ahead and switch over to my screen here. And what we're going to need to do is I got two terminal windows open here, or tabs in my terminal open. You can do that by hit Control-Shift-T if you're on Linux, or just Control-T on Mac. But here we go. Let's make sure our server's up and running by doing sudo opt lamp examp start. All right, so my server is up and running. And the next tab, what I'm going to do is start our mailhog server so that we can get emails. So it's tilde/go/bin/mailhog with capital M and H. And now you can see that it is running and receiving emails on port 1025, and we can view those on port 8025. So if we go to our browser now and we navigate to localhost port 8025 here, it pulls up Mailhost. The next thing I'm going to do is go to my PHP MyAdmin by going to localhost/PHP MyAdmin. Go on the users table, and whatever rows you have in there, just go ahead and delete those for now so that we can do some testing. And then in the browser, go ahead and go to the register.php and go ahead and register yourself, and make sure that this is going to send an email to Mailhog here. Make sure we haven't broken anything. Okay, so now I got an email notification here that popped up. It did send me to the login page, which is not currently set up, so we have a 404. That's fine. It did, and it sent this varicode. So a couple things here. Let's go ahead and click on structure. Okay, and we do have, I just double checking that we do have an index on varicode, because we want to search the table by this varicode, meaning we're going to want to have an index here, because there may be potentially, if you have a successful website, I mean, there could be millions of rows. And so to speed up that process, we want to create an index, which we've already done. I was just double checking that and just kind of re-verifying that with you. The next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and go to Mailhog and hit refresh, and you have your email here. So go ahead now and just right click on this and say open in a new tab. And now we've got the URL in our bar, and we need to build this verify.php page. So let's go ahead now and inside of here, let's create a new file. And we need to call it verify.php. So we're done with our register.php. You can go ahead and close that down. And then in our verify.php, this is going to be a really simple page. All we're going to do here is go ahead and open up some PHP tags, go down a few lines and close those PHP tags. And what we're going to do at the very top here is just include our head file. So include head.php. And then we're going to go down a few outside of the PHP, and we're going to do PHP include, and then we're going to include our foot.php file. And then whatever we put in the middle will be our HTML here. So let's go ahead and do well, for now, let's just do our logic before we do our HTML. So go ahead, and now we're going to get our varicode. So set up we're going to set up a variable called varicode, and then we're going to go ahead and get that varicode by doing $_get. And the key on that is varicode. Now, why is that? Well, in our we have a get parameter. This is what a get parameter looks like in the URL. So it's a question mark and then varicode equals. So if we do $_get and we put varicode, then it's going to get this value right here. Now we can't really trust that because that's user inputted, okay? So they could change that, so we don't want them to do anything funky. So what we need to do is use our sanitize function, and we'll wrap around that get function right there. And so now we have the varicode. So let's go ahead underneath that and let's just dump and die varicode and make sure that we're getting that back correctly. So I'm going to save and go back and we'll refresh the page here. And now you can see that we do have our var dump and we got a string with our verification code in there. Okay, once we've done that, we can go ahead and we're going to set up a few extra variables up here. And the first variable we're going to do is we're going to set up a success equals false. And then the next thing we'll do is set up a message equals, and we're going to say something has gone wrong. Or your account is already verified, semicolon. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do an if statement. We're going to say if the varicode, so if that exists, we're going to put an if statement here. And we're going to we want to find that user. So let's create an SQL variable, and we're going to type in select star from users where verified is equal to 0 and varicode. Now we want to bind this because this is user inputted, so we're going to use a question mark, and then we'll do a binds array, and we're just going to pass our varicode into that binds array. So there's going to be only one element in that array. The next thing we'll do is do a result, and we'll run our query method, and we're going to just pass in the SQL and the binds array there. And then what we're going to do is say user is equal to MySqli underscore fetch associative array, and we're going to pass in our result there. So this will give us the user from the user database. If we look in PHP MyAdmin and go to browse, this will get our user by this verification code. So it's going to find the user. They got to have the verified column needs to be 0, and then the varicode will be this, and if it finds it, it's going to find this user. Okay. The next thing that we want to do, let's go back to our code here. We want to make sure that we actually found a user, so we'll do another if statement here, and we'll pass in if user. If there's a user, what we want to do is we want to update the verified column, and we want to update it from 0 to 1. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and create another variable called SQL, and we're going to type in update users table set verified equal to 1 where ID is equal to, and then we're going to use a question mark. And then what we'll do is do our binds, and we're going to bind on our user, and this is associative array, but we're going to bind on our user ID. So we're going to get this ID back. So in this case, it's going to be 10 for me. That will be the ID that we're binding on. So it's going to update the user's verified equal to where 1 where the ID is equal to 10. Okay. So now what we'll do is we'll do success is equal to query, and now we'll pass in our SQL, our binds, and then we're going to pass in true to make sure we're only executing, because we're not doing a select statement here, we're just updating something. So we need to pass in true for the execute only thing to work. Okay, so then so this should be true or false then. So then outside of these if statements, right down here at the bottom, we're just going to say if success. So if success is equal to true, then what we're going to do is we're going to change the message equal to your account has been verified. Please log in. Okay, so we'll get rid of this dump and die here. We don't need that. So this is all the logic that we need for this entire verification process. So again, we're finding the user by the varcode that's in the get parameter in the URL. If that user exists, we're going to update that user's verified to 1 to show that it is verified. And then once that happens, we're going to set this variable of message equal to your account has been verified. So then all we need to do is add some HTML here. So let's do HTML. Well, I'm sorry, we're going to do an H2 tag. And in the H2 tag, let's just go ahead and do a PHP echo. So it's less than a question mark equals. We're going to go ahead and echo that message and close the PHP tags. So whatever this message is going to go in an H2. So if there's an error, it's going to say something has gone wrong or your account is already verified. If it's successful, it's going to say your account has been verified. Please log in. The next thing we want to do is we're going to add a div. And inside this div, we want to add an A tag. And we're going to do an href of login.php. And then we're going to give this a class equal to button-primary. And then inside the tags here, we're just going to say log in. All right, so now if we go back to our browser after we've saved and refresh, we got to go to this screen here with the verify. We're going to hit refresh. And now it says your account has been verified. Please log in. Underneath that, we have this login button, which will then take us to the login screen. Which is not working yet, but let's just double check this. Let's go back to phpMyAdmin, click browse to refresh this, and now you can see that this verified is equal to 1. So we have verified this. What would happen if we tried it again? So let's go to open in new tab, and if we go to that, it says something has gone wrong or your account is already verified. So it's only going to do it the one time because it didn't find the user. Because if you look at our source code, remember when we were looking for the user, we asked it to make sure that the verify was equal to 0. Well, in this case, since it's already run, the vericode is equal to 1. So it's not going to find a user where it's 0 and the vericode is equal to that. So then it just says this default message. It doesn't make it into this. And so it just says that. So that's good. That's what we want. This is all working correctly. If you have any issues, just go back and double check this file here. If you still have any issues, hopefully you've resolved any issues with your query function by now, if you've had that in the previous videos. But now we are done with verification. So in the next video, we're going to go ahead and take care of the login screen. So I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.